Episode 1 of The Hunting Wives begins with a girl running through the woods, frantically calling for help. Gunshots pierce the air as we cut back to the present. We're in the heart of East Texas and Sophie heads home to her husband Graham and son Jack. Their relationship is a little strained though, while we see that Sophie sports a scar below her belly. This, one can guess, is a result of a potential miscarriage, but I'm sure we'll find out more about this later on. For now though, we learn that Sophie has just moved here from Boston about a month back with her family and is still trying to adjust. She's on Xanax to try and calm herself thanks to her outbursts of anxiety, while Graham seems to be pretty controlling. Despite working in PR, Sophie is worried that she's not going to be able to turn on the old Sophie charm to win over these East Texas folks. Their destination for now is a fundraiser, which happens to be an NRA party. Sophie isn't exactly happy given she's not enthused to be around guns, and when she heads inside to get some air and a break from the gun fanatics and bigwigs, she meets an eccentric woman called Margot in the bathroom. She's certainly not afraid to get her kid off, which happens to be a recurring theme in this show, and her provocativeness certainly throws Sophie off her game. The main draw, no pun intended, is the party host Jed Banks. He rocks up on stage with a flamboyant cowboy hat, a big old projected American flag in the background, and the familiar southern drawl we've come to expect from Texan folks. He immediately turns the attention toward a case involving a girl called Casey Crummell in the past. The community had been rocked by her disappearance, where she was kidnapped and never seen again. He uses this as leverage over his campaign notes, including how imperative it is for folks here to have guns to defend themselves from dangerous people and the nearby drug runners. Sophie is surprised to see the amount of support Jed has, and even more so when he realises that Margot is actually Jed's wife. Sophie isn't just a PR mouthpiece though, as she also used to be in politics back in the day. Sophie accuses Jed of leaning into racism during his speech, and the charismatic man takes it on the chin well and laughs it off. Margot puts Sophie on the spot shortly afterwards though, and encourages her to come up to the cabin with them for a girls' night. Alongside Margot, there's also Jill and Callie too, who make up this Sex and the City vibe quartet. Adding an extra sultry spice to proceedings are Abby, a religious girl in town, and her boyfriend Brad. Now, Brad's mum is Jill and she doesn't take kindly to her son's extracurricular activities. And just to make things even more crazy here, Brad seems to be having an affair with Margot too. Margot is completely unhinged it seems, and talking to Jed that night, they set their sights on Sophie like a lion stalking its prey. Sophie is very much lamb to the slaughter here, and she shows up to see the Real Housewives of East Texas at the guest house. All the women are happy with their lives, which is completely at odds with Sophie's career-focused approach to life. Margot encourages Sophie to let her guard down a bit, which she struggles to do given her crippling anxiety. To alleviate some of that, Margot decides they should go out hunting, as you do, but Sophie has never fired a gun before, and Margot puts her right on the spot. Sophie is completely unaware of the kickback or even how to turn the safety off, which elicits some chuckles from the other girls. Margot continues her seduction though, grooming Sophie with body shots at a bar and running her hands up the girl's arms. Things take an awkward turn though when a man rocks up, offering to buy Sophie a drink and seemingly knowing who Margot is. Margot curses him out and things are pretty awkward afterwards. Outside the bar, Sophie gets talking to a confident kid called Jamie who offers her a ride home. There's no way she's about to go home with a strange guy, much less one who's barely 18. As a result, Margot decides to drive Sophie back home instead. Margot believes they're being followed on account of her brother Kyle owing money. She's had dealings with loan sharks before it seems, and on the road she's certainly not afraid to throw them off the scent. In return, Sophie opens up and explains that she doesn't drink or drive thanks to a car accident that occurred a few years back. She was drinking at the time and Graham put his foot down and forced her to give up both vices. Sophie has been drifting through life ever since, unsure what to do and what she really wants. Margot though is very much a free spirit and encourages her to live a little. Sophie does donuts around the parking lot, drinks alcohol and eventually rocks up back home again with a new perspective on life. Unfortunately, Graham can smell the alcohol on her breath, but she lies and claims that she's sober. There's further drama interwoven in the middle of all this when Abby gives Brad her purity ring and takes the dive, leaning into more sexual exploits with him. Although to be fair, given what we've seen between them, it does seem like she's being pressured into doing this. As the episode closes out, Callie grabs her husband's badge and logs into the station's database, intending to get the dirt on Sophie. It's here where she discovers that Sophie has a felony charge. So right from this first episode, The Hunting Wives feels like someone grabbed the general raunchiness and romance of Sex and the City, kicked it through Texas, and gave everyone guns. Oh, and also there's a murder, of course. The soapy drama is outrageous, and it's almost on the verge of parodical for the way it approaches this, but there's definitely something undeniably gripping about this one. The characters are a bit of a mixed bag based on what we've seen in episode 1, but it's clear we're going to see more of this Abby/Brad situation, along with exactly who was running through the woods and got killed. The premise is certainly intriguing in that respect, and having not read the book myself that this is based on, it does feel quite unique in the way it's been set up so far. The mystery is likely to become a focal point as the episodes progress, but for now it seems Sophie is being groomed for Margot and Jed, who have their sights set on their prey. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.